again, horse racing fans. Welcome to another episode of the Insight Post. We have set up for us this Saturday, September 30th, at lovely Santa Anita Park in California, prepping for the Breeders' Cup, giving you our picks for the opening weekend for Santa Anita Park. Couple stakes races, couple graded stakes races on their card. Going to give you our best bet, one next up contender, and a long shot pick. Make sure to hit that like button. Give us a subscribe. We've posted our Churchill Downs, and we'll post our Aqueduct for some Breeders' Cup Win in Your In series races. So make sure to go check out those. Leave us a like, leave a comment down below of your best bet for the day or for the weekend races. So we're going to kick this off in race 6, the Santa Anita Sprint Championship Stakes for Grade 2 for 3-year-olds and up. We're going 6 furlongs here on the dirt. Top pick in here, we're going to go with the favorite or possible favorite in Dr. Shovel, taking a drop down in class coming out of that grade 1, Bing Crogsby, finishing third in there but behind the Chosen Brawn and Anarchist. Pretty good 115 speed figure in that race. Kind of was denied coming up at the end. The top two basically had a head over of each other, and then Dr. Shovel was, I think, a length back or so. So should not have the likes of those two in here, as he was beaten favorite in that race. Comes in pretty good order. Stays at that 6 furlong distance. So I think this would be a great setup race for him. Going to be coming from possible mid-pack, because I don't think this is a very deep field. I feel like a mid-pack setup for Dr. Shovel is going to be a pretty good setup for him. Could be the best horse in here right now. There's some other contingents, of course, basically to his outside of the Baffert contingents, but I think he's got some speed. He's got some mid to late kick that will definitely set him up in here. It's just, will he be able to run them down? And what's the speed or what's the pace going to be dictated, or who's going to dictate that? The horses ran and made on for the Dubai Golden Shaheen, finished third, and there has ran with CZ Rocket several times, as you can see on his past performances. You go back in the fall of 2021, the horse really went on a tear with 5 straight wins. And then goes to that Malibu and then straight to Maidan. Just kind of came back like we see most horses do from when they come from overseas, goes to the Met handicap, comes in, wins that, but then comes in and wins an allowance, then goes to the Met and then kind of just places 5th. Of course, he ran into Cody's Wish, Zandon, and White Barrio. So I think this is a horse that's kind of getting back into that groove. Hopefully we get back to those 2021 numbers of those 5 wins in a row. Second pick, obviously going to his outside at number 3 with Arabian Lion. Again, look at the numbers. That grade 1, Alan Jerkins finished third in there behind 1 in Vermilion. And verifying, kind of just got 5 wide. This horse could possibly be the favorite coming in here ahead of Dr. Shovel. It's been working out really well on the Santa Anita track. Bob Baffert trained. Edwin Maldonado will get a mount, I believe, for the first time in here. So interesting to see Edwin get this mount just because the other jocks are staying on the East Coast. But if you go back, winner of the Woody Stevens, winner of the Sir Barton, and then obviously gets beaten in that Alan Jerkins. So I think this is probably an easier field for him as well. Like I said, it could be a 2-horse race between the Lion and the Doctor. So that's kind of our 1-2 contingent. Third, we're going to go with Visitant. Trying to find a price in here as our third pick. Currently at 8-1 for Peter Miller and Antonio Frescu. 110 speed figure last time out in the Del Mar Mile. Finished third in there behind Du Jour and Exalted. Um, so kind of go back really in graded stakes company has not done so well. If you go back three starts, that's kind of where the horse picked up a win, I believe, at Turfway Park in the Holiday Cheer Stakes with Gerardo Corrales aboard. 105 speed figure and was at that 6 furlong distance. So if you look at the horse's distance statistics, definitely a big 2 for 2 there, and seems to favor or like the distance of that 6 furlongs. Probably going to be our speed dictator in here. Looks to have some early speed, but I don't think the horse is going to get the lead. I think it'll just set right off the lead, possibly press. And long shot pick will be Speedboat Beach. A lot of eyes probably will be on this horse, just because the horse has only had 4 starts, 3 wins. Last time we saw this horse was at Del Mar, December 4th, 2021, in Cecil DeMille Stakes, winning that with Flavion Pratt aboard. Here it gets Victor Espinosa aboard again, Bob Baffert trained. The horse has been putting in some pretty good workouts recently, September 23rd and September 16th. So interesting to see. I know, huge layoff. So kind of going to be some big question marks there. But interesting enough that here's where they're pointing this horse off of almost a year layoff. So 12-1 probably won't get that, or probably will not be that. I feel like this horse is going to take some weird money. So we shall see. But 12-1, we're going to take a stab at it here and use it in some of our exactas and trifectas. Moving up, race 8. We got the Awesome again. This is the big Grade 1 stakes race. The Win in Your End Breeders' Cup race, going a mile and an eighth on the dirt for 3-year-olds. In here, we are going against the Baffert contingent yet again. In number 3, Slow Down Andy, 5-2 for Doug O'Neill and Mario Gutierrez. As you see, a lot of these horses are coming out of the Pacific Classic. Slow Down Andy probably did the best coming out of there. It ran third. Was at like 11-12-1 for his odds in that race. But seems to be a horse that's hit the board fairly often. I mean, he's got a couple thirds. Got to go all the way back September 2022, going a mile and an eighth. This Del Mar Derby, winner of that before that was his last win. So interesting to see this horse at 5-2, just because we have to look back so far for a win. But if you look, he's beaten out some of the other contingents in here. Senor Buscador did get the best of him in that San Diego. So we shall see. Hopefully we get a little bit better ride, maybe a little bit more forwardly placed. If you look through the past performances, the horse can go to the lead and win. It's just don't really know if the distance is best going to the lead and trying to wire them gate to wire. I think the horse sits off the lead as the best case scenario. Let's press the pace a little bit in here. Could be what Doug O'Neill's trying to think, and then try to make that late kick or late pass down the stretch. Second pick, we will take the Baffert runner into funded again with Maldonado aboard. Another one that's coming out of that Pacific Classic, finished 6th, however, in there behind Slow Down Andy and a couple others, and was also beaten in that San Diego handicap by Senor Buscador and Slow Down Andy as the big post time favorite. So again, go back to May, the Hollywood Gold Cup. That's where Defunded picked up its last win. Did it from the lead, going to the lead, and wiring the field in that race. So again, another big question mark. Is this horse going to sit closer to the lead? Definitely cannot bury itself like it did in the Pacific Classic or the San Diego, where it just was way back. I mean, not way back, but I mean, it was not mid-pack for sure. I mean, comes out of the gate like 5th and 7th in those races, and then kind of just runs out of it. Was definitely like 4 or 5 wide, and then was 4 wide in the stretch, or 4 wide in the last turn. in that Pacific Classic, and really nothing there. So Maldonado has been on this horse before, so that will be interesting. Um, and I think he'll pick up where Hernandez kind of left off of this horse. So definitely kind of keeps that jockey momentum. Posted a pretty good workout September 24th, I believe at Santa Anita. What was it? 4 furlongs and 47. So definitely a likely contingent. Next, we're going to the rail. And number 1, Senor Buscador. Only because he's been the most recent horse that's beat out or won a race that's beat out some of these other horses. He the winner of the San Diego. Uh, he did finish 4th in the Pacific Classic behind Slow Down Andy. So this race I feel like is very wide open. The only tick for Senor Buscador right now is that late speed. That seems to be a good tactic for him to be able to use, especially in this race where the pace could be dictated by our other 2 picks. And we have Senor Buscador kind of running late. He's done it before. He did it in the San Diego Handicap where he was able to catch Brickyard Ride and Slow Down Andy and pass them. However, in the other one, I think there was just too many horses. He really got behind. They went pretty fast for a mile and a quarter. So I don't know if that was kind of an issue, but he still rallied for 4th from 10th. So definitely going to be one that's going to be closing late. And long shot, we're just looking for a price in here. If we have a hot pace or any type of pace meltdown, so to speak, Celestial Moon's going to be our long shot at 30-1. This horse may not hit the board. But comes off a win, comes off a career best 104 speed figure. That was the first time for Mark Glatt. He was previously trained by Will Mott. So the horse kind of ships out here to the West Coast and picks up a win and an allowance of non-winners of 2. However, this is his first stakes, and he's going right to the big stakes. So we're just using this horse maybe in a trifecta or superfecta. Really, running style is kind of up in the air. It looks to be maybe best in the mid pack, or just off the lead. As you can see, last it was 3rd coming out of the gate, and then was able to make a rally. The distance obviously will be the big issue if it's going to want that extra distance. But like I said, 30-1 to roll it in with some of these other ones. That's kind of where we're taking a shot with a big price. Race 9 on the Saturday card, the Eddie Stakes Grade 2 downhill turf. This is for 3-year-olds as well. This one is this was probably the toughest on the card to handicap. There's a lot of good horses in here. And it could be a big sleeper, it could be a big price, or it could be one of these lower odds or favorites. We're going to go with number 7, I'm a Gambler. If you look, some of these horses have their last outing was just piss poor. And looking at I'm a Gamblers in that Delmore Mile, finishing 6th. So definitely going to have to make an improvement. If you go back 2 starts in the Santa Anita Mile, did finish 4th behind some of the other ones in Boldnikov. So interesting to see. The horse seems to be improving on his speed figures. That's kind of where we're using it as our top pick. The trainer jockey combination has been on fire with Glad and Freshew recently, so using that angle to our advantage here just based off of their ROIs. But I think this is a wide open field in here, and with the jockey like Freshew, who's absolutely on a tear, this horse should be a likable contingent. Next, we got number 6, Laneway. Close to probably the favorite in here for Richard Mandela and Mike Smith. 18-4-6 lifetime. 2-1 so far in 2023. January was the when this horse had his last win in the Clocker's Corner at Santa Anita, $100,000 stakes race. Did have Mike Smith aboard. Posted a 106 speed figure in there, and then goes straight into Grade 3 stakes at Del Mar, the Green Flash, and finishes fifth. Definitely had nothing in the tank there. This is a horse that could possibly have some different tactics in here. Could set mid pack, could press the pace, or come from way off the pace. I think it's just wherever this horse gets out of the gate, it'll be comfortable with. So if we see Laneway go to the lead, obviously something's not right. So expect this horse to be a big late runner. And I think on the turf, the late runners usually have the edge, just because it seems like the front runners are kind of wearing out. So Laneway could be one, like I said, could be the favorite that just easily takes this. And third, we're going to use the Volkanov, the Irish bred horse, cutting back in distance from running basically a mile its entire career, I think. Cuts back to this 6 furlong distance, I believe is where we are, 6.5 furlong distance on the downhill turf. Comes out of that Del Mar mile as well. Finished 8th, however, in there. I'm a Gambler, had a little bit better trip, and has a little bit better speed figure. So we're keeping Boltnikov as our third choice. But in that Eddie Reed, finishing second was interesting. Really thought the horse was going to come into that Del Mar mile as like a big sleeper at 10-1, but just really had nothing whatsoever. Kind of was boxed in, was brushed. I mean, it ran into a lot of trouble. So the cutback in the distance is kind of why we're using this one here. Interesting enough, like I said, Freshu is a hot jockey, but he chose to ride I'm a Gambler. But hey, D'Amato and Franco again have a huge ROI for jockey trainer stats. So if you're a person that kind of follows that number, Boltnikov, however you say it, is definitely one that will check your box of that. There's a lot of other good horses in here. I mean, Brand, the French bred number 2 at 5-2, definitely have to use that on your pick 5 tickets. Noble Reflection, another one that you possibly have throw out that last race, and the horse looks pretty good on paper. So again, I said it's a deep field. Long shot in here, not really a big price, but 8-1, an Unconquerable King for D'Amato and Joe Bravo. Winner last time out went 5 furlongs at Del Mar, and an allowance of non-winners of 2 for 80,000. I mean, the horse is fresh. It's coming off a win. Has a pretty good record so far, 4-2 in 2023, 12-4 lifetime. Has ran across the pond or over by the pond in its previous starts. So came here in 2022, basically last summer, and then has basically 2 wins and 1 second place. So obviously the horse is adjusted well. This will be the first big stakes race that this horse has ran in. So interesting to see what it's able to do. Another one that has some early speed, could go to the lead here and kind of upset this field going wire to wire. But I think it's going to sit probably just off the pace or could challenge for the pace as well. 8-1, we're hoping it kind of goes up to that 10-1, 12-1 line to give us a little bit better ticket pricing in here as well. So this is a field that we have to go deep on. We're probably going to go 5 or 6 horses deep in our pick 5 or pick 4 ticket structure. So make sure to check down below. We'll post our tickets down below on our blog so you all can see all of the bets for each race. Next up, mile on the turf, we have the City of Hope Stakes for 3-year-olds and up. This is a Grade 2 stakes race on the turf. In here, our top pick is going to be Hong Kong Harry. Look at the horse's record in 2022, 6-5, 16-9 lifetime. 2023 has been a struggle. Ran second in the Bourbon Turf Classic Churchill Downs, was disqualified, placed 8th, and then comes back in the Shoemaker Mile, finishing 3rd. So definitely one that's kind of coming back into it or getting back into it, hopefully, of where this horse was back in the fall of 2022. Winner of the Seabiscuit, the Del Mar Mile, the American Stakes. So definitely one that should fit well in here. Has a little bit of late speed. That should help this horse tactically in this type of pace setup that it's going to get. Um, Hernandez last 10 days is on fire. ROI of plus 46 right now, so that's a good number for a jockey. D'Amato is obviously training really well too. 23% when they come off a layoff. So this horse last raced in May, so definitely coming off a pretty good layoff in here for Hong Kong Harry. Should be primed and ready to go. Next, we're going to use number 5, Astronomer. Again, we get Fresu with Simon Cowell. On this one, again, another one that really hasn't tried stakes company. This is the first stakes race for this horse. It has some pretty good early speed, possibly the one that's going to dictate the pace in here. 6-3 in its career. Winner last time out. I know it was an allowance. It was on the firm turf at Del Mar, so interesting to see what this one's able to do. Was beaten out by Twist 2 times back. Just terrible outing there. They faded. I don't know. The horse possibly went way too fast and just ran out of gas. Hopefully, they have a little bit more of a tactical here. Let somebody else go to the lead. I think the horse fits better being a presser rather than setting that pace. So we shall see. At 6-1, this is definitely a pretty good pick as pick number 2. Third is going to be Twist. Number 7, Hector Barrios, John Sadler. Fifth, last time out in the Del Mar Mile. Again, ran into De Jour, Exalted, some pretty good horses. But then goes into that $80,000 non-winners of 2. Winner of their beating out our second pick in Astronomer. Tacticals, kind of up in the air just because the horses ran overseas so much. There's really not a good pace of what this horse will do. Could go mid-pack. I don't think the horse will do very well if it gets behind early. Doesn't look like it has a big late kick. Looks like it needs to be sitting close to the lead to have any chance of this one. At 3-1, I don't know. The horse could go off close to favorite, or even be the third or fourth betting option in here. There's not a whole lot, as you can see. You have to go back to some of this when the horse ran overseas in France to really understand what this type of horse is. It did really well over there. Then it comes over and it's got a second and a first in some allowance races, goes to grade 2 and finishes 5th. So interesting to see what this horse will be able to do in another graded stakes race. Next, we're going with the Il Bellator. Steps up in class for Alejandro Gomez and Jose Batista. Big long shot here at 15-1. We're going to take a shot. 4-0 in 2023, but does have 1 second place and 2 thirds. All last 4 races does have Gomez aboard. Does come out of $250,000 stakes races. Ran in the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile and finished 4th behind Iridio and Hong Kong Harry at a huge price of like 70-1. So interesting to see a horse that seems to be getting better. I know it ran a 107 in the San Francisco, then a 103, and then a huge 111 in the Long Acres Mile. However, it is stepping up against some tougher horses. Tacticals, I don't know really what this horse will do. Probably just be a late runner. Looks to be the best suit for this horse. That one hole could be interesting if they're going to try to get out, maybe. That's why we're kind of using this horse as a big price, 15-1. Probably going to go up a little higher, possibly 20-1 come post time. But taking a shot just because the horse seems to be on the improvements, has some pretty good speed. And I believe gets back to the turf. I believe it was running on dirt the past 2 starts. So interesting to see what this horse does going back to turf. Interesting enough, like I said, kind of going with that horse that seems to be on improvements. If you look at the distance or the distance to the surface with the trainer Batista, he's got a huge ROI of 162 right now. So definitely going to take a shot, 15-1, using it in some trifectas and possibly an exacta wager. I thought that was the last race. So there we have it. Our picks for the Saturday card at Santa Anita Park as we prep for the Breeders' Cup. That will be ran later in November. So we have a slew of stakes races for Saturday. Aqueduct now being pushed to Sunday. So be looking for that video coming up as well for our best bets at Aqueduct. Go check out our Churchill Downs for Saturday best bets, and go check out our NFL football for Sunday as well. We hope you win big. Let us know down in the comments your best bet for the weekend, as we all are playing to bet the ponies. Thanks for watching.